Let's go back, all the way back.
The biggest interview that I've seen of yours, Ade, is outrageous. 45 million views with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh.
Yes.
What was that like?
I enjoyed it. Honestly, just a lovely conversation. My mum kind of kicked me out when I was like 17. So I went to a homeless hostel. I didn't do well in school.
How the hell are you so successful?
God. I noticed in America, the UK, and Europe, there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding Saudi Arabia. Did you have any like negative misconceptions before you came to Saudi for the first time?
Every time I get to Saudi, everyone's just happy to see you. Everyone greets you. It's
That's
nice.
good.
And like, well, 1 second, let me maybe look at getting a little flat here or an apartment. With the Saudi League, it's only been one transfer window. So you think of Neymar, you think of Mitrovic, again, Firmino, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson came.
You're, especially in the UK, a really big voice now, right? So what advice would you give to young Saudi men and women? How can they really kind of reach your level and do that in Saudi?
Yeah, bro.
You know, so I messaged, DM'd Ade. So I've been watching Ade for a while, like Talksport and stuff, right? So it's a UK radio station. So I messaged him like, out of hope, like, oh, you know, like, it'd be nice if you would like come on or whatever. He's like, I'm the biggest Tupac fan.
Wow,
Mutah's
crazy,
involved.
Bro,
literally,
I appreciate that.
That's
We
exactly what it
appreciate
was.
that.
I was like, huh? That's not even a question.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Immediately I'm coming. Like,
Appreciate
please.
that, bro.
But did you know he was here? Like, have you followed him since then?
Yeah, because someone reached out to me and said that he has the Smoky Beard
Restaurant.
Yeah.
And I went there. Me and my friend went there. It maybe wasn't this fight, maybe the fight before.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've been coming
I
over here
wasn't
for like
there,
2,
though,
3.
right?
You wasn't here.
You want to come in?
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
he wasn't here.
I wish I would have met you, but everything happened for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason,
So
brother.
your friend who came, he was from Saudi or
No, he's from London.
from London?
From London,
Man,
but
that's
he even
dope.
knew about your restaurant. So we went,
Wow.
You should have DM'd him, man. You should have told him.
Yeah, you'd have hit me up. I'd have been chilling with you.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I was a bit embarrassed, a bit shy to do it. I was
Nah,
like, I don't know if I
I
could do
get
that.
back. If I see the message, I get back to the
Yeah, I
people,
don't know. I
bro.
was like, yo, this is...
That's crazy.
Like,
I'm
you know,
the same way, though. You got to be careful. I don't be want to DM.
Yeah.
I did it a few times for the podcast show, and
Yeah.
I'll be telling Shans, like, bro, I don't like asking nobody for nothing. You know?
I hate it. I hate it. You've
Yeah,
been
but-
listening to someone since you were 12. I've been listening to him since I was 12.
Yeah.
Damn,
You know?
bro. That let you know how old I am, bro.
Yeah, since I was 12.
But you were young though. Like
You were young.
Yeah, I was 16, 17 years old putting that music out.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy.
16, 17.
Hit him up. You were what, 18, 19?
Hit him up. I was about 7.
See,
In the video, I was 18.
I'm 43. So,
43, yeah.
Yeah, so my mum, that's why
Shalom.
she was so upset at me listening to it when I was 12.
Yeah.
She
Of
was
course,
like,
yeah.
she was
I
like,
can
no,
imagine.
enough.
Yeah, I
Enough.
can imagine. My grandmother, I used to be like, man, wait till my grandmother hear these records. She gonna be mad
Yeah.
when she hear my curse records.
She was alive when you mixed up. So did she
When
ever
I
say
saw
anything like, don't do this?
she was alive. No, she was happy that I was you know what I mean, that I was getting away from the street. She didn't really but I remember one time she seen an interview with Pop. Pop did an interview on BET. And my grandmother watched it. After she watched that video, she was like, man, he speaks with intelligence. Because Pac was like, he was like 21 and he said something like this. They asked him about the projects.
Yeah.
You know, he said, look, the same people that you guys are afraid of, like the white police and the white people, the people that you're afraid of, when these people come out of prison, they come back in our neighborhoods. And we don't have no protection. So the same people you're afraid of, y'all come in our neighborhoods with guns and riot gear. We got to live next door to these killers. And so when my grandmother heard that, she was like, wow.
That's crazy when you think about that, you know? I never
I never
that's such
thought
an obvious thing to think about, but I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
They come back straight into
We
where
gotta,
you
bro.
are.
We gotta survive that. Like we gotta. I hope y'all recording because there's some good conversations.
But this is I've
we
seen
gotta survive walking. Like imagine like a kid. He's 10 years old. He walking from school, and you just might see this corner a fight, this corner pow pow pow. Crack vials. Like this was the reality growing up. Well, like going home, I remember saying when crack epidemic came, that's when the killing started because of drug dealing and fast money. And I remember you would see crack vials on the corner, crack pipes, broken crack pipes, and you're like, wow. You just think like this is life. Like this is this. You don't think about too much. You know.
Yeah, this is the
You don't really see past
this
that.
interviews I saw where he's like, black people are scared too. Like, don't think just because we live
That's
here.
what he said.
Yeah.
In that interview, my grandmother
Yeah.
watched that interview, and then she was like, "Now I'm comfortable with you going," because I wanted to move with him. So I'm trying to convince my I got kicked out of school, 10th grade. So I go to school. We get a new principal, and she was like, "Listen, man, I asked for the worst names of the kids in the school. Yours at the top 10." And she said, "If you mess up one time, I'm kicking you out." I didn't take it serious. I kept messing up. Call me to off. You got to leave. So then after that, I was like, nah, I got to go to night school. You know what night school is? High school at nighttime.
That's an America thing. I think we have that in the UK.
We don't do that in the UK.
No.
Yeah, I think I went like one time. I was like, man, I ain't coming back to this. I just got kicked out. So then at that time, I'm trying to convince my grandmother to allow me to go.
The mic? Yeah.
I'm trying to convince my grandmother to allow me to go live with Tupac. But of course, she don't know this man from a can of paint. So she like, well, I'm going to let you live with this guy. All I hear about him in the news every month, and he's this and this and this. But that interview made her say, now I feel comfortable. This guy, he talk with sense.
He talks with sense, right? He talks
Especially the guys I was hanging with in New Jersey. She like, yeah, it's better. I'd rather you go with this guy. He seemed like he got a good head on his shoulder. So my grandmother, she understands. She just I remember the first time I went to the Apollo. You remember the Apollo?
Yep.
You don't remember the Apollo? Bruh, the Apollo.
That's where you rap and they boo you and stuff.
Yeah, they booed me there.
Yeah.
They booed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they booed me. I went to the Apollo, and I remember as a kid, I always, because, you know, growing up, you watch everybody in the Apollo. I'm like, man, I always want to get on the Apollo. I think I rode him or something like that. So the day that I had to go to the Apollo, one of my homies, he helped me a lot, you know, put me in the studio and stuff like that. He came to the house to pick me up, and his gun was showing a little bit. And he, by mistake, he didn't know that his shirt was showing his gun. And my grandmother was like, pull your shirt down. And he put his shirt down, and I guess she realized, like, this is the life my grandkids are in. She didn't tell me not to go with them. She was like, man, this is
Imagine
it.
that kind of realization hitting that.
Yeah,
This is what they are. This is This is the world they're in.
I thought she was going to say, no, you ain't leaving the house with him. But she just said, cover your gun. I was shocked, like, dang, grandma.
Crazy.
I feel like the UK is dangerous, but I feel like America's on another level. When you hear stuff like this.
You know what it is with the UK? It's dangerous. It's actually very dangerous at the moment because there is no guns.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to get close to someone to inflict pain on them. So it even makes it a bit more scary. Like my two older brothers in and out of jail.
Really?
Yeah, my mum thought I was going to go that way.
Where are you from in the UK, Eddie?
London, East London, Stratford.
Oh, yeah, okay. I used to live in Stratford.
Is this I
lived in Leighton, Stratford, made a little bit of money and moved further east. Ganshill, Newbury, part like those places.
Started to get out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Stratford. My mum kind of kicked me out when I was like 17. She thought I was going the wrong way.
Wow.
So I went to a homeless hostel, lived in a homeless hostel for 4 years. Yeah.
Damn, so are we recording?
We can edit this out though, however you want to include it.
It's all good. No, it's good. It's fine. It's fine.
This is good. This is
you know, like Plaster's rough.
Plaster's rough.
Okay.
It was when I was there, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah. So she was like, get out, hostel.
Why did she kick you out? You don't mind me asking?
I think because my two older brothers were bad.
Yeah.
And my sister had a kid when she was 16. So I was like the last family hope. Like, you're going to do well.
You was the baby.
That was the baby. She was like, okay, so she put a lot into me. She got me private tuition.
Yeah.
But I just kind of not always went to the streets, but my friends were not getting that. So I used to just follow my friends a lot. So I was never bad, but I used to always be around them.
Yeah.
So it was almost by association. So so then I kind of fell off. I didn't do well in school. I didn't do anything.
No
I didn't do university. No, none of that. I didn't do any of that.
How the hell are you so successful though?
God, okay, God want to give it to you.
My mum's prayers, you know, I always speak about my mum. When my mum prays, it's so powerful. Like when I go through anything in life and my mum says, okay, she's got it, I know it's done.
You're a religious family? Like
my dad was a pastor.
Okay.
Wow. My mum
really?
was always in the church, very like a prayer warrior.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I see my mum pray, like even when I say I'm going to go on stage, mum, and I like she'll send me like a Bible verse. She'll say, it's fine, just read that Bible verse. And once I read that, I know, okay, it's a wrap. We're good. I know we're good. But me and my mum used to like, for years. Oh, for years. Only in the last...
Teenage years, I believe.
And then like late in my 20s. I think it's only now because I'm kind of doing what she always thought I would be able to do. Like being good, talking to people. She always thought I was going to be like a pastor or someone in the church. I was like, that's not me. So I'm kind of talking to people this way. So I think she's now kind of like, okay, my son's finally the pennies dropped, so to speak. But we used to butt heads all the time.
Yeah, again, I don't know if we want to include this, but because I was researching you a bit, your background.
You want to start officially?
We can start in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have foster parents or something? That's what it said.
Yeah, I was in foster care.
When you got kicked out?
No, so when my mum had me, she had me when I was one. Sorry, had me when I was one. She had me, and at one, we came back from Nigeria, but she couldn't look after me, so she put me with a white family.
Okay.
In a place called Brighton. So I was in a white family.
How long you lived there?
9 years.
Brighton's nice though.
It's nice, but it kind of messed up there was a period of life where it's weird because I was brought up by a white family.
Yeah.
But then my mum, when I went back to her, very strict African. So when I went back to my mum,
You don't want to listen.
Shit was different. It was like,
because with the European family lifestyle, it's
easy.
No problem.
Like,
Anything goes.
Yeah, it's like go to your room when you're
no,
bad.
you go to yours, mommy. Okay, son. Just today, I would listen to you.
But when my mum got angry, that belt came off quicker than I've
like
ever
colored
seen.
people don't play that.
They
Bro.
don't play
Arabs,
that.
Africans,
Don't play that.
Especially West Africans,
Latinos, Pakistanis, like
they don't play.
They
so
don't
that
play
kind of
that.
for the first 2 years was quite like.
Have you spoke about this before? I've never heard you talk about this.
Not really, you know. Not really.
Like Diary of a CEO, like.
When the big dogs in town. You know
so we'll record. We can start formally now.
Yeah.
But
keep all of that though.
Yeah, fine. Keep all of it. Anything.
But even so, before we even we did the episode plan. So I was saying we'll keep it very conversational. With not other guests, it's very formal. But with you, I'm like, nah, this guy's just a cool guy from England.
Yeah, we'll take it easy. With the other, especially the football players, I don't really know too much about football. So I'm like,
you gotta hear Mutah ask football questions.
I'm like this. Look. Google.
What did you say to Rakitic? He was like, I watched this whole game and there was not one goal.
Yeah, this is why it was hard for me to be a soccer football fan, because the first time I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch football.
Yeah.
And it was like an hour, 20 minutes.
And nothing happens.
No score. I kept saying, bro, how do people like this?
I get that. It's weird. We love it. I'm obsessed.
He used to basketball, right? Like every 30 seconds something's happening.
Imagine a whole game, nobody scored. I couldn't believe it. Like this is so I thought all the games was like that.
Oh no. Some are interesting.
It's the
I'm starting to learn more and more though.
But Carlos, we'll come to it. Because a lot of the first part of the questions about Ade's career anyway. Today, we have a guest that I'm a big fan of myself. Watch his shows regularly on TalkSport. He's a lead presenter for DAZN Boxing, DAZN Football, also Amazon Prime as well.
Wow, yeah.
From what I've seen recently. He's covered many fights in Saudi, I believe 5 or 6 times now. You've been here, you were saying?
I think 5 or 6, yeah. You're right.
So welcome, Ade Oladipo.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to my second home.
Bro. Yeah, second home.
My second home. This is
welcome back home.
I'm here all the time.
Does it feel like that?
It does, because I'm here now, obviously for Fury Usyk. But then I go and then I come back in like a week.
Yeah.
I come back in a week for another event.
Yeah.
But I just can't stay here because I've got to do stuff that I've agreed to do in London. But I'm here all the time. And you know, every time I get to Saudi, when I come at the airport, I just feel like, you feel free, because London is so stressful.
Yeah.
It's so busy. It's 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
No one talks to each other anymore. But when you come to Saudi, everyone's just happy to see you. Everyone greets you. It's nice.
Yeah.
And like, well, 1 second. Let me maybe look at getting a little flat here or an apartment.
I said before, you might want to buy here, right?
Let me ask a quick, because I love to get this like feedback from Westerners that come, because I know this in America, the UK, and Europe, there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding Saudi Arabia. Did you have any like negative misconceptions or things that you was nervous about before you came to Saudi for the first time?
None.
You just like none?
None. Yeah, you know what it is? I think
amazing.
Maybe because I've traveled so much.
Okay.
You know, I haven't sort of been born in Nigeria, but then I've gone to Nigeria recently as an adult. Yes. I've been to every continent in the world. I've traveled. I almost feel like sometimes Westerners are so stuck in just Americans will only stay in America.
Yeah.
You know, the UK will only stay in the UK. It's like you don't go out and visit places. And also my sister used to come here quite a lot for work.
Saudi.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister used to come here for
so
Saudi.
She told you about it before you came?
She told me about
like
it before I came.
Wow.
She told me about it before I came.
That's amazing.
I've got a lot of Muslim friends who've told me about Saudi. So, yeah, all that preconception about nonsense.
Yeah.
Go and visit somewhere first.
Yeah.
So it's like when someone tells you, that guy talks rubbish, let me go and speak to him first. I want to see what he talks. I want to make my own judgment up first.
It's important. Most people not open-minded like that. You know, they still think Saudi the boogeyman. Like, oh my God. You live in Saudi, visiting Saudi, be careful. Like,
scared. Don't say anything. Don't look anywhere.
Yeah, bro. This is what the most friendliest country on earth is to me, Saudi.
Yeah, amazing.
In the Middle East, you know, in general.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, Ade, I wanted to start really with your career. You're living like every young boy's dream, right? Like, you're meeting all these celebs, you're presenting the biggest events in the world. So, what is your journey like? If you were to kind of summarize it, like, how have you got to this point?
You know, it's only happened in the last few years. Only happened. So, and I don't say this as a good thing, but school was bad for me. I didn't do well in school. College, forget about it. I didn't do university. So I just had normal jobs for years. I was in a homeless hostel until I was 23. And then I got a job at Islington Council. So that's like my local area, looking after my local area. And I was a housing officer, helping homeless people get housing.
Okay.
Wow.
And then a friend of mine who, I have to shout out, a guy called Ryan Rayson, big boxing fan, huge.
Yeah.
Every time a big boxing match would come on in America, would go to his house to watch it. Like me and him would get some food, would be watching it until like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, there's 4 a.m. fights.
Yeah, 4 a.m. Or was it Las Vegas fights, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then my partner always used to say, why don't you guys just start a YouTube channel? And we're like, what? We have no idea where even, like cameras, we don't know what to do. We certainly didn't have these wonderful mics. We didn't have anything. But we started a YouTube channel and then someone saw me on the YouTube channel and said, can I come down to their proper setup, a bit like this and talk? And I was like, well, me?
Yeah.
I can't, I've got work in like, but we arranged to take some time off work. And then it literally has gone from then.
So you started with your YouTube channel?
I started with a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Based on sports, the channel?
Based on boxing, just boxing.
Based on boxing, yeah.
And it didn't even get great numbers. It wasn't like this YouTube channel was getting like 100,000. We were getting like a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and this is how God works, someone still watched a YouTube channel that was getting only 200-300.
Wow.
And then they saw me and asked me to come on. And then I almost feel like with media, once you do something, it will lead to something else.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, it's just kind of led on and on and on and on. And here we are now.
Wow. Amazing, man. So you said it really kicked off last few years. So was there like a pivotal moment, or was that the pivotal moment? Or
in terms of doing big events now, no, I'll say DAZN launched in the UK about 4 years ago.
Just the Eddie Hearn deal that he did.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn did a big deal with DAZN. Yeah. Eddie Hearn had left Sky Sports and moved to DAZN.
Yeah.
And DAZN announced that they're going to get a new talent roster.
Okay.
And so they put their talent on Twitter at the time. And they said, okay, this is our new talent. And then a few people in the comment section said, oh, you need Ade.
Nice.
So DAZN must have seen this because I became that boxing guy. I used to sit on my green chair, and talk boxing. And then a few people were tagging DAZN, Ade, nah, where's Ade? Where's Ade? Like there's no representation of color in it. Everyone in the group is just white. And they said, oh, you need someone else with a bit of color. Yeah. And so someone from DAZN reached out and said, do you want to have a little sit down? And I tried to pretend I didn't want to. I was like, I'm kind of busy, just to kind of tease him a little bit. I was like, I don't want them to know that it's that
desperate.
easy.
You don't want to seem desperate.
No, not at all. So I took a while to respond. It was hard for me to pause. But I was like, okay, let's do it. And then as soon as DAZN reached out, that was it. Then I just, within DAZN, I started to kind of take jumps and jumps and jumps.
Amazing.
And then it's just gone from
so
that.
So DAZN, you would say, is similar to, you said like our ESPN.
Yeah, DAZN, I think, would say. Yeah,
it is American. I think it's an American company.
It's kind of global now because it's an app. It's everywhere.
Okay.
It's everywhere. Yeah. But DAZN have got big. Obviously, it's not just the football. Not just the boxing, it's the football, it's everything. But
football,
when I joined them, it was just predominantly boxing.
So that's a big jump, right? From going like your own kind of YouTube thing to now this global multi-billion-dollar platform. Because I think the guy who set up DAZN used to work at ESPN or something.
There was a guy called John Skipper.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he used to work at ESPN. That kind of was the one to open it up to other countries. Yeah. So America being one of them.
So DAZN is massive. So that's a big jump for you, right? So like, how did you find that early part of your kind of career?
Daunting.
Yeah?
Daunting, yeah. Because you then realize you're with people that are educated. And they talk differently.
Yeah.
Some of the words they use, I'm like, whoa. you
but
struggle.
That's how Americans, whenever we listen to British people talk, we like, is this the 17th century? Or?
Yeah. So I was even nervous with their vocabulary. I was like, and that's when I started to question myself. I was like, I haven't got any education. They're going to find out soon that maybe I've kind of got away with it somehow.
Yeah. Oh, imposter syndrome, you had that?
Big time. Even now, today, still.
No way.
I swear, maybe I hide it quite well, but if they were to put something on my chest, my heart is do. But once they say, Ade, you're going live, it just goes away. Once they say, okay, Ade, 1, 2, 3, what can you do?
Yeah,
you can't tell them stop, pause. You can't say, can we stop the podcast, please? You just have to do it. But I am very, inside I'm like, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Man, that's great. So actually, I was going to ask you about advice, but I want to pick up on what you just said. So how do you prepare then before like a big interview? Like you've done, which we're going to cover as well in a bit, some really massive interviews. So what's your preparation like going into an interview?
There isn't much, I'll be honest with you, and this might sound surprising because what I've seen with a lot of journalists, and I've noticed that they've kind of got the pre-prepared questions.
Yeah.
And they kind of got their laptop on their thing. But I've always noticed that every time they look down, you've almost lost your guest a little bit. Sometimes. So I'm kind of
going my iPad, bro.
Sometimes
I was like this when you said that. Like, yo.
Sometimes I'm going off what they say.
Yeah.
Because if I've kind of got this kind of questions thought in my head, I'm so desperate to get the questions off that sometimes I lose the conversation.
Oh, so you don't even make a plan before you...
No.
I think that might be the best way because it's like, it's natural and you go off the flow.
Natural.
Like motivational speaking. Like, you know, I did years of going to different parts of the world doing motivational lecture, and I always feed off the crowd.
You never wrote down what you were going to say?
Sometimes I would go and say, I'm going to start talking about this, but I'm always looking at the crowd. If they look too bored, I switch it up.
Yeah.
Like I know, like, damn, that story is boring, so let me just talk about this. And when I see they look a little lively, I stick to that path. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to ad-lib and just go with it.
And that's kind of what I do.
Do you know Ade at least make a skeleton though? Like, do you think?
No.
I think that's why we balance out so well, because Shams is like a perfectionist.
I'm more prepared.
He like a.
I have the first question in my head, and then that's it. I have that one question to start.
Yeah,
and then we go.
I think both ways is good. It just depends on the person.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, true.
But I guess with the boxers, they're asked the same questions all the time. So I feel like I kind of go that way a little bit. I go here. We can talk about, like, right now, if I saw Tyson Fury with the Jordans and I realized he's getting bored, I say, yo, look at your Jordans. It opens him up a bit. He's like, okay. And like that, something random.
But do you think that's because you haven't followed the conventional route? Yeah, maybe.
That's because I didn't do the journalism route. Which is do well at A-levels. And then go and get a degree. And then a master's. Then a journalism degree. Because I haven't done all that, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's probably why he's unique. You know what I mean?
Because one of the things I really wanted to kind of ask you, and hopefully our audience find beneficial, is you're, especially in the UK, a really big voice now, right? Especially for ethnic minorities. In Saudi, sports is like this, right? Like football, boxing, UFC. So what advice would you give to young Saudi men and women or boys and girls? How can they really kind of reach your level and do that in Saudi?
You know, I think we're lucky now because it's actually easy. Like, start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like, even with what you might consider my success, I still do my YouTube every day.
Every day you recording.
I record.
Consistency, bro.
And I've got a daily vlog because it keeps me grounded, but also it gives me those hours on a mic into a camera. I film off my phone. I don't film off anything fancy. I just put my phone on a tripod, I hook up my mic, and we go. Because I want people to know how cheap it is and how easy it is to start. Everyone's got a phone. And you can plug in a £20 mic and clip it on and just go down to a camera all the time. And that kind of it's given me 10,000 hours worth. They say you kind of need 10,000 hours to be a perfectionist, whatever, but it's given me that time on camera. And I do it in my own time, but I make sure that, I think that the YouTube is the best way to start. It's the best way because then you almost become yourself as well. You can do your own thing. You can be different.
Your own boss as well.
Your own boss. You can talk the way you want to talk. You don't have to go to a company who then try and maybe sort of trim off the fat. You can do exactly what you want to do. So for me, a YouTube channel, simple, cheap, is the best way to go.
Have you had any mentors along the way?
Yeah, I've been lucky.
Yeah?
I have to be. I've been lucky. There's a guy called Darren Lewis who is the assistant editor of a newspaper back home. I reach out to him.
No, I know of him.
You heard of him?
I reach out to him all the time.
Amazing.
Anytime I feel like that maybe there's something like a bit of racism here maybe, or a door's been shut, or maybe a big opportunity is coming, I'm really nervous. I reach out to Darren and I'm like, yo, give me a little something.
Would you say there's actually racism within the journalist world in the West? Like you feel it?
Big time.
You see it?
Big time.
I guess this is something is pretty much around the board when it comes to these things back home.
Big time.
But would you not, I mean, I agree to be honest, but like, do you think people would then say to you, but look at you, Ade, you work for Amazon, DAZN, TalkSport, Sky Sports.
There's always one they let in. There's always one. It's like, okay, no more. Shut that door 1 second. Shut that door.
You represent all the black people.
Easy. Yeah, you represent everyone. But we're still far behind. Like when I did the Amazon gig, so that's football. And when I did that, I was the first ever black presenter of Premier League football in the UK. And it's been going 30 years.
Wow.
So that alone's crazy. The first ever. And I'm like, there's been so many good black broadcasters and journalists.
You know,
before
like
me.
it's funny, like when our Saudi, friends hear these things, they don't really understand it. Like, what do you mean the first black? What do you mean the first? Because their country don't go through these type of things. But they don't understand, like in the West, it's difficult. To some degrees. But one of the things I do like about the West is that you still can make it.
You've got
it's one of the places that you still can be from the bottom of the bottom. But if you educate yourself, if you work hard, you can reach the top. Even with all the racism and all the barriers in front of you, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
You know what I mean? There's always a way.
There's always a way. You might have to go that route. And but there's always a route to the destination.
And we see this in America. Like a lot of people, like when you think about Black Americans, for example, the media portrayed us in a negative way. And so, like, I met this African lady a long time ago when I was still in the music industry, right? I had a Lexus. This is when Lexus came out with the hardtop convertible. I was one of the first ones.
Cherry red.
Yeah, the cherry red.
Was it,
it was cherry red. I was one of the first ones in LA with it, literally. And I seen this African lady, and she seen me getting out the car, and she said, "That's your car?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Can I take a picture?" I let her take a picture. She said, "In my country, they show a negative image of young black people."
Yeah.
She said this to me. She said in Africa, I forget what country she was. And I realized then that they scaring people with this. They making it. Don't get me wrong, some stuff is true.
Yeah, of course, no, it's true.
Some of these things you hear about the hood, you better best believe it. But it realize that they don't really, she said they don't show like the success. Like you can go to certain parts of America, Los Angeles, and there's neighborhoods where all the homes are 1 million to 10 million, and it's all African-American community. Black Americans that
they
made
don't
it.
show that side.
They don't show that side. You know what I mean?
No.
So they have people afraid to interact with us when they come home to our country. You know what I mean?
Ade, what's the end goal for you? So obviously now, to me, like obviously you're like killing it from what I can see, right? But do you have an end goal? Is it to own your own media company, whatever? I don't know. But do you have a specific target in mind?
In terms of sort of being a broadcaster, I've got to host the World Cup. Like the World Cup final, that's the big one.
That's like the top thing for the journalists.
That's for any sports broadcaster, the World Cup is like sort of Game 7 in the NBA Finals for us. Like this is it. It's the biggest thing. And plus, there's never been a black host of the World Cup final.
Wow. Qatar, you didn't call Qatar World Cup?
No, I didn't. I did stuff for TalkSport in the studio back in London.
Okay, you did.
In terms of being out there, no. So I want to host the World Cup. And in terms of just me, my end goal is just to bring people through.
Yeah.
Like I've always, like, I know how difficult it is to get here.
Yeah.
But I also know that there's so many talented people that can get here.
Yeah.
That don't have the qualifications, don't have whatever. So for me, it's always been about a production company.
Oh, yeah?
Called Green Chair Productions.
Okay.
Yeah, where people come through.
That's your production, or that's what you want to do?
That's what I want to do. Yeah, that's the dream. Yeah. Because I always sit on a green chair at home when I do my YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's like a little kind of a throne. Everyone knows me now for the green chair. I was like, where's Ade on the green chair?
I like the death row chair.
It's a bit kind of, maybe there's a bit of thought of that. So it's always, for me, it's always about bringing people through.
Yeah. Are you mentoring people now then? So are you?
Yeah, I mentor so many people. There's probably too many, in fact. Because they message and I'm like, okay, no problem. I give my numbers sometimes. Is there any struggles? And sometimes they be calling crazy times.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
You gotta be very careful.
But it's good that you have that in you, that you're not selfish. You want to give back. You know what I mean?
Because I think
that's important.
There's so many people that speak well,
have
a talent that they don't realize that they've got. And I hear them, I'm like, you could be doing something here. So, and maybe it's a different talent. Maybe they don't speak like the way everyone else speaks, but I think that's almost even better.
What do you think the key is, Ade, to making great content? That's quite a generic question, but is there a particular formula? Like, is there anything that you've seen and observed that you think, okay, other people need to be doing this if they want to make great videos? Okay.
Consistency is, for me, the most important thing. Now, anyone that I like, and I follow quite a few YouTubers, I always go back to their first video.
Yeah.
And it's dead.
Who's your favorite YouTube channel?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. It's his ability just to have a conversation with anybody. Kind of like what you guys do. You don't just stick to footballers and boxers. You kind of want to open it up. And Joe Rogan talks to politicians, comedians, athletes. And I think if you've got that skill where you can talk to anyone, you're good. But I always go back to his first video. I always show my people that I mentor his first video, and the camera's awful. The mic's awful. He's tripping up over his words. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I feel like if you can kind of just be consistent and put a video out once or twice a week, you'll get better naturally. Anything you do more than once or twice a week, you're going to get better at. Consistency. And look, it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean,
you
and the funny thing is, I mean, sometimes the YouTube comments section can be a tough read. But sometimes they give you some good feedback, though.
Oh, you read the comments,
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, you got, bro, like the funny part when he first started, he wasn't used to this. He's like, man, sometimes people be saying some crazy things in the comments. I get angry. I said, welcome, bro, to the internet world. Because
some people just mean, though.
Yeah, some people just, it's the world like you living in. We live in it. You just can't let it get to you. You got to realize it can be a 13-year-old kid with big glasses, buck teeth, a nerd, never left his room. You know what I mean? Talking crazy. So you got to know that's how the internet world is. When I first got on the internet, like when I first opened my Instagram page and went, for example, because I had it private for so many years, shout out to my neighbor Fahad. He convinced me to open it. And I remember when people first started talking crazy to me, I was in a private messages like, give me your address, fool. I was sending people address to people in America like, yo, I need you to pull up on. Then I realized like I'm gonna end up in jail. The homie's gonna be in jail, and this can be like a 12-year-old geek just be.
That's what it is.
Bro, I really was on it like that.
Yeah.
Until they started doing screenshots. I'm like, whoa, you could take a screenshot and take it to the police?
Yeah.
Then they have to kind of circle back. But
yeah, you got to. You can't take it serious.
Look, the internet's mean.
Yeah,
it is.
But we've got this weird way of, someone could say 90% of good things, and then you get one bad message, and for some reason you kind of feed off that rather than 99% of good stuff. So sometimes, look, if you wanna,
need that. I was going to say, in my opinion, you need something to keep you humble.
100.
You need something to keep you on the ground. Like, okay, I'm glad I just read that, because I probably would have, it was going in my head for a minute. Yeah. I'm glad they just pushed me back down to the ground.
Some people are just mean-spirited though. So for us, we haven't, to be fair, alhamdulillah, we haven't really had any real negative feedback, but some of the Instagram comments.
Bro, Instagram
is weird.
Bro, Instagram is it's next level.
The world's crazy though.
Yeah, the world is crazy. The stuff that I get on Instagram, bro, I'm a former rapper, so that stuff that
I
mean
see some of them
me,
sometimes.
Bro. It's like a battle rap. I'm gonna hit them back with something. I get mean right back at them.
That's crazy.
It can be. No, it can be. Look, I get racist stuff.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, 100. What?
You report them?
100, huh?
You report them?
Nah.
What would it be if you don't mind me asking? Like and it'd be people in the UK
emojis. Yeah, UK. Always UK. Always UK. Like,
I think UK is worse than America when it comes to race. Because in America, like I just seen a video the other day where it was a young white guy, not to promote violence, kids, but it was a young white guy. His stepfather called his black friend the N-word. So the young white guy beat up the stepfather, said, don't you ever call him the N-word again. America, we do have some white people that have jumped. So it's different in America. You do have good like white people that check you and say, don't be like, so we have that. You know, you still got racism, but it's not open like what the world think. People think in America, if you black or you Arab, or you can't survive in America. I guess it seemed like UK, you guys might be some years behind us.
I feel like we're years behind, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like we're years behind because we don't have as many sort of figures, black or...
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, like you've got so many, when I think of America, you've got so many black, big personalities.
And prominent positions.
Prominent positions.
Also in the government.
You had a president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're the president.
True.
Like, we are years behind that.
Yeah, true, yeah. And I think hip-hop culture, like, even though, you know, I was once involved in it, I'm not involved in it now, that kind of, I think hip-hop and basketball in America, that kind of broke the barrier, because now you got these young non-black kids want to be like Michael Jordan, for example.
And they're rapping the lyrics.
They're rapping lyrics of Pac, and they dressing like us. And so it kind of, I think that kind of played a part where people feel like we have more in common than differences. You know what I mean? But in the UK, for example, if somebody say something racist to you and you report, do they lose their job? Is there any consequences?
Yeah, there will be.
I think so.
There will be some consequences.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to report them. I'm trying to pull up.
There's no you got, like I said, it might be a 13-year-old kid. You pull up.
Stratford.
I pull up my 13-year-old nephew with me. Yo, come, we might have something to do.
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy though.
It's a crazy place.
But it just lets you know that's the reality of the world.
It's the reality of the world.
You know, believe it or not, as a black American, I never faced racism openly in the USA. People get so, because I don't know, once I start traveling outside of America, people really think that America just so racist. Like, people think this.
But isn't this because you've been famous for most of your life?
No. Not even that. Like, most of my friends, and many of my friends in America has never faced open... One, they know we fight back. I'm going to keep it real. Like, we fight back. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember after 9/11, that awful thing that happened, unfortunately, when these terrorists did that, you know, after 9/11, a lot of mass shit, innocent people in the mass shit was getting attacked. And a lot of time they was going to a mass shit that we call like foreigner mass shits, like, you know, Asians, Arabs, or Africans, and they really was doing stuff. When they pull up to our mass shit, it's true stories. They look and pull off because they know we going to fight back. We tell them, get out. We've been waiting for 1,400 years for this. Like, so, but I never faced racism openly. The only time I would say is when I was driving one time with my wife. She wear hijab, and I was pulling up. Now this is more like Islamophobia. I was trying to pull in my apartment building, but it's a gated apartment, and there was a lady in front of me, and the gate open. She wouldn't drive in. What? And this one I was still a little crazy, so you know I was new to Islam. So I'm like, go in. She like, you don't belong here. You Muslims don't belong. Bruh,
Wow.
I was chasing her all through that apartment building, like, like in a car. And I got out and then we started having words. You know what I mean? And I said, what do you mean I don't belong here? She like, man, because she saying my wife was from America, from what she thought.
Yeah.
She like, go back to your country. I said, look here, lady. I said, my family been in this country for, I can count 300-400 years. My great-great-grandfather's a Native American. Where's your grandfather from?
Yeah.
Germany or England or Ireland. I said, so matter of fact, go back to your country. But when she heard me talk, she realized I wasn't a foreigner. You know what I mean? Then a couple days later, she apologized. I guess one of the workers told her who I was. Then she apologized.
The former outlaw, yeah? This might be a problem for you. Yeah.
So I never really faced nothing openly, I mean. You know what I mean? Openly.
Moving on to more positive aspects of your your career, I'd say.
Yeah.
So the biggest interview that I've seen of yours, Ade, is outrageous. 45 million views with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh.
Yes.
What was that like? Because from what I've seen research-wise, there's only, I think Joe Rogan has one interview bigger than that.
Wow.
Diary of a CEO, which is huge, doesn't have any episodes bigger than that. The Daily Show, I think it's called, doesn't have any episodes bigger than that. So how was that experience?
So this broke records.
You know, it was surreal because that was the day of, it was AJ Ngannou press conference day in London. It was so busy.
Yeah.
And the Zone kind of gave me my list of things I've got to do. And I'm like, yo, this list is huge. So I remember just about coming to the end of my list. I'm ready to go home and chill. And they were saying, His Excellency wants to sit down and do an interview. And I was like, no. No, ain't happening. I'm sorry. I said, look, it's now 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I've been here since 9. I've done all my interviews. And then someone from the Zone kind of pulled me to the side and is like, you kind of have to do it. He's asked for you specifically to come down.
That's big.
That's big.
So I thought, okay, so I made my way to where they were staying in London on Park Lane.
Yeah.
And it's funny actually because we went into this enormous hotel. And I remember it specifically, it was on floor 7 in the hotel. But there were so many people going in and out of the rooms on the floor. And I was like to the guy, I was waiting to speak to His Excellency. I was like, you have the whole floor?
Of course.
And he's like, no, brother, we have the whole hotel. And I was like, okay.
That's some ball and stuff right there.
This is some boss stuff. And then,
wow.
So they kind of said, okay, His Excellency is going to come. When he stands up, you stand up. Kind of give me little things to do.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, I didn't want to, because I can go very deep with boxing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to embarrass anyone in an interview. So I didn't know where to go. But then after a few questions with him, I was like, okay, this guy actually knows boxing.
Yeah.
So he's not just pretending. Sometimes someone can feed you questions.
Like how I be when I do these football.
Yeah, when you do your football stuff, you got your phone next to you.
Like, damn, bro.
But this guy properly knew boxing. And then it just became, honestly, just a lovely conversation.
Yeah.
Because it was just a normal conversation. I started asking him about his favorite fighters and he was kind of going back and forth. It's almost like he wanted to show me the knowledge. Like, yo, I know my stuff as well.
Yeah.
And no, I enjoyed it. And I remember my sister watched it, and even after the first day, she said, it's on like 2 million views. I was like, what's on 2 million?
Yeah.
She said, the interview of Turki's on 2 million views. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then it's just gone boom, boom. And he's reached out to me personally and kind of just said, thank you for the interview. And I'm like, thank you. You don't have to thank me. I enjoyed it.
Wow. 45 million.
So you didn't do no real preparation for this then? So it was just
None. In my head, I kind of knew what questions or what specific points I wanted to get with him.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him about American fighters because we don't see many American fighters over in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And because I knew how American fight fans would want to hear what he had to say. So in my head, I was thinking of countries as I was going through it. It was kind of strange in my head. And then I know there's been so many big fights here, like which one was his favorite, kind of just basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then he kind of once I kind of knew what he knew, then I thought, okay, now we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of gauge what he knew first before like throwing him under the bus and making because my plan when I'm doing an interview, I never want to trip up someone.
Of course.
I'm never trying to get a headline or trying to trick you. I just want a normal conversation.
Because some journalists, they have that intention.
They have that. They want to get that hit.
Yeah,
they want to get that kind of headline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to get a headline.
We got to start doing that, you say?
No. I said some journalists would be like that.
Yeah,
like, we want to show him that we're here, he's there. We're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's respectful that you kept it respectful. You know what I mean?
We did the last event, which was crazy. We did the last event. So it was AJ Ngannou and he's walking out. He's walking out to go to the crowd. And obviously the crowd is going crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing everyone trying to kind of get a word.
Yeah, of course,
like, Turkey, he comes straight over to us, straight over to me. Like, holds my hand. And I can see people saying, who? And like asking, who am I? Because I'm not even moved. I'm not joking.
100 years of racism.
Gone. Because I'm just sitting down. I'm not trying to. But I can kind of see him, and I'm like, well, is he coming over?
Yeah.
And then boom, he's coming over, and he's having a conversation. And he's just like, what do you think? Do you like it? And I'm like, well, this is insane.
Wow.
Are you surprised by his humility in terms of how he's treating you? Or like, what is it about that, do you think?
A bit.
Yeah.
A bit. You know, just because I see the way everyone from all that the broadcasters kind of tiptoe around him.
Yeah.
Like they're very nervous because right now he's saving boxing.
Yeah, of course.
He's not just boxing, so many different sports.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like everyone is like walking on eggshells. So I kind of was like, who is this? Like, who is this guy? I need to see this guy.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I was like,
That's the homie,
that's
man.
the homie.
Well, if you
He's the homie.
look at the events that...
But people respect that, and people go off of energy. So people like to respect. People respect genuine people.
Yeah.
You know, people at a certain level, they know if you're genuine with them, or you know what I mean. So they want you to just be comfortable around them.
Yes,
maybe that's his personality.
That's
I've never
what
met
I
him.
feel
I
like
don't
as
know.
well.
Yeah.
I think he just wants people to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's difficult because, you know, they're chucking so much investment into some of these sports where it's saving some of these businesses. So I can understand why they're a bit nervous. But for me, I think he's just a sport fan. I look at him as a big sport fan.
Wow,
and that's where we can relate because I love sports as well.
Yeah.
Well, look at the events that His Excellency's put together. If you look, it started, what was the first big one that they did? Was it Fury and Ngannou?
Fury and Ngannou.
Yeah, that was the first big one.
Yeah.
AJ and Ngannou, the Wilder,
AJ Ngannou.
Parker fight was on that card as well, I think.
Yeah, that's AJ. Otto Volin was the main event.
Yeah,
Wilder,
yeah.
Parker.
What was your most awkward person that you interviewed?
I'm trying to think. AJ's difficult. And it's weird because the reason why AJ's difficult in the in-ring interview, so after a fight, because you go in there.
You hyped up though, I think.
That he's so pumped up.
You still want to punch
He's so
people,
hyped
man.
up. And AJ always likes to grab the mic and go. Sometimes this guy will go into the crowd. And as a broadcaster, the number one rule is don't let them take the mic. Because if they take the mic, they're in control of the interview. And then you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, wow.
And I can feel him. He's big.
Yeah.
Dude, like,
Yeah,
I'm not joking. He's 6'7", nearly 20 stone.
Yeah.
And I could feel him trying to grab the mic from me. Yeah. And I'm having this
Trying to hold
battle
on to
with
it.
him. I'm like, yo. And I'm looking at him like, don't take the mic. And he's kind of looking at me like, I want to take the mic. And I'm like, no, don't take the mic. Yeah. And the worst thing is, my hand is getting sweaty. So I can feel my hand slipping off the mic. Yeah. And then he let go. I was like, oh, thank you.
Wow.
But he can be difficult just because we're friends.
Okay.
And sometimes I feel like he forgets, like, when I'm in the ring, we're friends, but I'm here to do a job.
You're at work,
so sometimes he talks to me like a friend. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, come on, give me something, give me a bit more. So those AJ in-ring interviews are the hardest for me.
I see.
They're the hardest. Not in a bad way, just in they're very difficult to control.
Yeah. Then you interviewed David Hay and Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
Ryan Garcia, funny though.
Ryan
I ain't gonna
Garcia,
lie. I kind of started liking him because he not a troll though.
No.
Like he act crazy, but all of this was game that he was running.
Do you think it is game though? I kind of feel
Ryan?
Like,
I feel like there is a bit of crazy there,
yeah.
but he's almost got the energy of the youth today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go and meet any 24, 25-year-old that has the money he has
they're all
and the following he has,
true.
they're all a bit kind of crazy, honestly.
They're
all a bit crazy, but Ryan's a character. He's a character. I just hope that he sorts whatever he needs to sort out.
Yeah, and Devin Hanley, you know, that's our brother. We got a lot of love, respect. He visit us here, and we hope he bounce back because he's a good dude. You know what I mean?
He's a nice guy.
And I'm sure he's gonna learn from this. You know, boxers like himself on that level, when they take a L, they usually come back stronger. Majority of the time, because he's a very top class boxer. It's not like, you know what I mean?
I think his faith helps him.
Yeah, true.
Because sometimes when you can take a defeat like that, you can kind of just go a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, and I think he put a tweet out as well saying, this is God's will. Something along those lines. Like,
said
it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
healthy. You've made some money.
True,
We're good.
That,
We're good. You know, so I think.
But I
think
kind of
he's
like
good.
Ryan Garcia because I think he's more like the 50 Cent of boxing. When I talk about like him, I'm talking about his tweets and the trolling. Because sometimes I like to be entertained, man. I just go on Twitter and just laugh, like read his tweets. The guy's nuts.
100%. Most boxers are boring. Most boxers are kind of, they don't give you much.
They don't have personality.
He kind of got famous off social media before more than I'd say his boxing, I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably,
But then you know what? You got to go in there and fight.
Yeah.
So as much as he is famous on social media, as much as he's considered like a little pretty boy, he gets in the ring and the ring kind of answers all the questions.
Yeah.
When it's that kind of mano, one against one, And your social media following ain't gonna help you. You know what I mean? You just gotta fight, and that's kind of why I respect him. It's like he controls as much as he wants, but he goes in there and he goes for it.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to respect someone that can do that, because I would never do that.
Yeah. A few more questions on boxing, Ade, then we're going to move to football. So just going back to the interview with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, did your career get a boost from that at all? Because to do 45 million views, I mean, that's astronomical. Like,
I started getting messages from all over the world.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, more than I've ever had. Like a lot of messages from people in this region. Because again, it kind of goes back to what you said at the start, where sometimes the Western world doesn't understand what goes on here. So it's almost like it shined a light on everything here. Because a lot of people didn't know who Turkey was. So they were like, oh, His Excellency is just a normal guy that likes to talk sport. And I'm like, of course, what do you think he was, an alien?
Yeah, they are like he's gonna come. Hey,
what's he gonna come and do?
Like,
you know? So it's crazy. So it got a big boost. I think American fight fans really liked it, because he started speaking so much about what he wants to do with some of the fighters in America.
Yeah, he did.
And look, we're going to America. Like His Excellency was with me in New York 2 weeks ago, and there's a big fight they're doing in New York. Sorry, in LA.
Yeah.
So American fight fans are
Big
excited.
Baby's fighting again, right, in LA.
Yeah, and Terrence Crawford is fighting on that. Yeah, Big Baby's fighting. So, and that's with the backing of Riyadh season. So I think, look, everyone's excited about what is happening. But I do think it's important that the big events stay here in this region.
Yeah.
I think it's important for the growth. Like, I think I can understand. I was speaking to someone about this actually on the plane who's from Saudi, and they said they want to see it grow here. They want this to be the place to go. They want everyone to be able to want to come over here.
Seems like that's the way it's going.
That's the way it is going. That's the way it's going.
Definitely.
People are flying out for fun now.
Well, it's sold out, right?
Sold out.
The Fury Usyk fight sold out.
Sold out.
Amazing.
Who you got? Can you say?
I'll say. I've been saying Usyk for a while. And then Fury's team come up to me the other day, pull up on me. And they're big. They're like, Ade, so your team Usyk, yeah? I'm like, come on, guys. I changed my mind.
You kept it real? You said Usyk?
No. They did this live. They did it live on the broadcast.
Oh, really?
Tyson's right there, Big Tyson and his manager. Live on air. They're like, okay, Ade, go on. What have you been saying? You think Usyk's going to win? I was like, I might have changed my mind a little bit. I kind of went to Tyson for this guy big.
This is going out after the fight, though, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think it's a tough one, and it should be tough. It should be a hard decision.
He's you got tough, Usyk, though, bro.
Usyk's so
the
good.
Other day I was just watching his highlights.
He's good.
This is a very technical, he's a tough fighter.
He's a tough fighter, I'm telling you.
Size, though, isn't it?
Because he's small, so you think size does matter.
I will say this, he's small compared to Tyson.
For a heavyweight, I mean.
But when I saw him, when I was with him the other day, I was like, this guy big, Usyk.
He's like 6'3", 6'4".
6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds. That's not small.
Yeah, that's
it's
not
small because Tyson's 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, it's Tyson 6'9".
That's the problem, 6'9".
Bro, I don't think boxing ever seen anyone like Tyson Fury, though. That
never.
type of body.
There was value ever that I fought David Haye, but that was a long time ago, and he wasn't anywhere near as skilled as Tyson Fury.
That skilled. Tyson caused a problem.
Moves
Tyson caused a problem for any heavyweight in the history of the sport because of his size. Like even the greats. I know we sometimes don't like to compare him to the great Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and Foreman. Foreman was considered big. Foreman was 6'4", 230.
Usyk,
and that's country.
Usyk.
We call that country big in America.
That's country big.
He down south eating pigs and chopping wood. Like that's a different type. The people down south, even
He's
for us,
down south, right?
Yes, even for us Americans, people from the south is known to be more like stronger, more like they just tougher. Like I mean, as far as
Wilder's from the
not
south,
tougher,
right?
we can't really say tougher, but they more like hands on.
Yeah,
like, they work on farms. You know what I mean? They carry hay. I remember one time I was with Jay Prince. He had this. This was years ago, like 20-something years ago when he had this. And he had this like farm, and one of his side business back then, I don't know if it's now, is selling hay.
Wow.
Like he's like, man, I just make a couple $100,000.
That is the most country thing I've ever heard in my life.
And
selling hay.
Yeah, and that's what I said, some country living. But then he was telling me, he's like, man, one of these dudes dealing with the hay, one of these skinny dudes that tear somebody up in the ring because they lifting it and bruh.
Country strength.
Country strength is different.
Natural strength.
What's your view on Tyson, Jake Paul? Like influencer boxing in general? What do you think about this?
Man.
I hate it. I'm not a fan of it at all.
Yeah.
But you see the clips of Tyson, he looked good though.
No, you've seen 4-second clips of Tyson.
That's true as well.
There's these 4-second clips and they speed him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I remember they did this for us before when Tyson was going to fight Roy Jones.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh my God, even I said Tyson's back. I was like, oh my, he's back.
Yeah.
And then in the ring, he just couldn't move after a minute. So, nah, 58
I don't
is
really like
58.
it either, man. It's like he should
Yeah, I
respect
don't like
them
it.
and shouldn't even call them out. To me,
Yeah,
like
how
you
can he
gotta.
be 58? Yeah, and it's not like
He's still powerful though.
he's
I
still
remember
powerful. He hits you, you're
bro,
gone.
when we was at the restaurant the other day, he came and I was like, you know, Tyson, thanks for coming. He tapped my back. He's like, no problem. Bro, I almost fell over. Like, but I stumbled and everything, but I
Still
played it
Mike
off.
Tyson, yeah.
So I never looked back at it. I'm gonna, you know, but I was like, yo, this dude tapped my back,
strong.
and I stumbled a little, bro. So he's strong.
But
though.
Jake Paul's young, strong,
It take one
big.
hit from Tyson though.
Yeah,
One hit.
that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
But look, they're making so much money, right? Netflix. It's on Netflix, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got Netflix, so it's going to be seen by
But
millions.
nobody would respect him if he beat Tyson, bro. It just like
it's just it doesn't mean anything.
like what
It's
would you win, bro? What would you win
moniker.
out of saying you beat up a 58-year-old man? Like, what's bragging points after that?
I guess it's the money more than the bragging rights, right? I'd imagine
Maybe,
it's
yeah,
the purse.
maybe.
Think about, like when you think about Tyson, like Mike Tyson, obviously youngest heavyweight champion, right?
Yeah.
So he was in his peak at 21. So as much as I love Mike, the reality is Mike was past his peak at 28.
Yeah.
That it was done. It was done because of his outside life. So we're talking about a guy that has been done for 30 years.
Yeah.
We're just digging him up right now. It's because it's the name that says Mike Tyson, but in terms of the Mike that we grew up watching, the Iron Mike, nah, it's just
but
not
still,
the same.
bro, one
Oh, he
punch,
hits you, yeah.
bro. All he takes, because you know they say the last thing that goes is the power.
Yeah.
One
by the way,
punch.
is this the camera? Mike, I'm not saying this to you. Like, I'm not saying you can't
Well,
do
no
some
problems with
damage.
Mike.
But just in case I see you
But
out
Jake can really fight though.
Nah,
so.
Jake got a power. That's why I don't
Jake's
like
powerful.
it because he has a hit. He has a punch.
He can crack. And he's big. I've seen
Yeah.
him.
And now he got
yeah.
bigger. Yeah,
Big.
I don't respect that, bro. I think they need to. I don't even want to watch it, bro.
No, I
Because
will.
Tyson,
You will watch it though.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course you watch
Yeah,
it.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Curious.
he might get jumped though, man. Beat up Mike Tyson in America. He might walk out the ring. Everybody from the hood gonna charge him.
I'm telling you now.
Because people love Tyson.
Mike's loved.
His own mother told him not to do it. You know that, right? When he called his mother, I seen a clip.
Jake Paul's mother.
Either he called his mother, I believe both his mother and father, and he was like, guess what? I'm about to fight Mike Tyson. He's like, don't do it. Like they say, are you crazy?
Because he's right though, in terms of his brand, say he were to knock out Mike Tyson. You know how much you lose? People are going to hate you.
Yeah.
It's almost
People
like
won't respect them back
when
home.
Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And everyone loved Muhammad Ali, everyone. And Larry Holmes beat him up badly. And for Larry Holmes, he always speaks about this. People started to hate him in America.
I remember that.
Because you've beaten Ali. You've beaten the guy that we all love.
Icon,
So you've got to be a bit careful sometimes in picking
that's
your
true.
battles.
Growing up, people, nobody like from the hood really respected Larry Holmes.
No,
after that.
nobody. And he
You
was
know what I mean?
amazing, Larry Holmes. One of the
And
best
Mike
heavyweights ever.
Tyson, like kind of a weird link, actually beat
Beat up
Larry
Larry
Holmes
Holmes.
because of that.
Muhammad,
Because of that.
Yeah.
See, so
Wow.
you got to be careful. So you knock
Wow.
out Mike Tyson and you start bragging, it's not going to be a good look for you.
Yeah.
Moving on to football, Addy. So,
Hey, my favorite thing, my
subject.
first love.
Bigger football fan or boxing fan? I thought you really.
He says
my
first
dad.
love, wow.
My dad,
He
yeah.
supports the right team too. He's a Liverpool.
Yeah, I
fan.
like the way you guys are wearing red for Liverpool. Nice.
He's a Liverpool fan.
yeah.
He's on the verge. Joining Liverpool. So Addy, before we go to the Premier League, I wanted to ask you about the Saudi League. So obviously you're pretty involved in terms of you do your TalkSport show and stuff like that. So what's your views on the Saudi League, and have you been following it?
Not been following it that much.
Yeah.
But I do think the expectations in terms of what people wanted was too much too soon.
Yeah.
It's going to take years to get where I think it will get. And when I say that, I think it could be a top 3, top 4 league in the world.
Yeah.
I think Ronaldo mentioned it could be top 5 very, very soon.
Wow.
Cristiano. And that's going to take time with transfers, with all the teams kind of being the same, because you've got 4 or 5 teams that are supported, that financially are getting everything, and the
PIF
rest
teams,
are kind of, not getting as much. But it's definitely getting there. I think it was a big boost when the MLS team, Messi's team, came over and got absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
So I think people thought, okay, it's actually legit out here.
Yeah.
But I was upset as a Liverpool fan when I saw a few Liverpool players disappear to the Saudi League.
Yeah. Fabinho and
Mane's here
Firmino.
now. Salah's going to come, definitely.
Firmino.
Is Salah coming, they say?
Salah's definitely going to
Salah,
come.
who is he?
That's what Fabrizio told us the other day, right? We didn't interview Fabrizio. He said that
you
Salah
interviewed
linked.
Fabrizio Romano?
Yeah. He was saying in the summer, Salah.
Wow.
He said something else. He said
So
Trent
I'm
might go
learning,
to
bro.
Madrid as well.
I don't even. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
We learning. But this is the biggest sport in the world, so
and I do
have
think
to catch up.
with the Saudi League, it's only been one transfer window, massive business.
Yeah.
Imagine 5 transfer windows. Imagine what's going to happen with 5 transfer windows. I can't even imagine the stars. Like, you think of the stars that came really from that one summer window. So you think of Neymar, you think of Mitrovic, again, Firmino, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson came.
So how many transfer windows per year is it?
2.
So what do you mean when you say 5? Meaning 1 year
So
would be 5.
imagine what it's like in 2.5 years
yes,
of players coming over. There's going to be
every year they get to bring 2 international players per team.
No. So the window opens every summer for like 2 months, 2-3 months.
You can transfer.
Players you can transfer. And then in
January.
Yeah.
You can bring and transfer.
You can bring and transfer.
So what Ade's saying was last summer was crazy. Like maybe like $1 billion was spent. Like so many transfers happened.
So many players, big name players.
So imagine 5 of them.
Imagine 5 of them.
America, man, they've been telling us football. I mean, our football was the biggest sports in the world. The world champion.
But Ade, do you think, so is it just about transfers though? Do you think there's anything else they need to, because how can they compete with like the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga?
Sometimes you almost have to jumpstart though. So I think it is about transfers. You look at the Premier League and what Man City have done.
Yeah.
And they've almost bought themselves to the top immediately.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is that aggressive spending. Now Man City obviously focus on the youth, the structure, other things. But initially, it was a case of we've just got to go out and buy the best players to compete straight away. So I think the Saudi League just need to almost pump as much money in it as possible early.
Yeah.
And then it will slow down. Look, this spending, this sort of aggressive spending isn't going to happen forever. It's happening now and it will stop and slow down, but you almost need to spend to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Because the Premier League and La Liga and the Bundesliga are so far away, you can't catch them unless you spend money.
Yeah.
Unless you take their assets. And that's what the Saudi League has done. It's taken assets from La Liga, the Premier League, the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
So you almost strip them so they go like that and you go like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it is aggressive spending for the next 4 or 5 years, and then you start to kind of have a bigger plan.
Do you think they can compete with those top leagues though? Because the way I personally see it, people always mock me when I say this, but why can't they compete with the Premier League? Because if you've got, like you said, 5 windows of consistent spending, and obviously over that time, infrastructure will improve, marketing will improve, you know, people will become more familiar with the teams there from outside. Why can't it reach that level? But some people scoff and say no.
Do you mean that level in terms of eyeballs, people watching?
I mean,
or competing against that level?
Compete in terms of attractiveness of like the Premier League.
Yeah.
So people in Germany, France, Spain, they watch the Premier League. Will they then watch the Saudi League?
You know what I've noticed with a lot of kids? Like my nephew, I've realised he doesn't support a team, he supports players.
Okay.
So yes, you can compete because people now will follow where Mbappe goes.
Yeah, that's true. The new generation,
the new generation don't support.
They like, oh, I'm a this fan.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, I'm a Ronaldo. I'm a Messi. I'm a Neymar. Wow.
100%. Like, you know, amount of young people that watch Stephen Curry. This is NBA talk from Golden State Warriors. If Stephen Curry goes to the Knicks, you know how many people are going to go and watch the Knicks?
True. That's how it works in
Stephen
America.
Curry.
That's like we use a lot of times we lure you to players. Like people used to love Lakers because of Kobe and Shaq. Once that split up, then they started watching it. That's how it is.
That's how it works. So I think you can compete because you'll be able to get the players and then you watch the players as opposed to you're watching a team.
Yeah.
So if they get Salah,
yeah,
all the Egyptian and Muslim fans that are watching Salah at Liverpool, goodbye. They're all now moving over to watching Salah in the Saudi League. So you can compete in terms of eyeballs, in terms of competitive, in terms of competing on the pitch. It's going to take years. It's going to take years.
Because the quality of the teams is so strong.
It's so strong in the Premier League from 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Saudi League at the moment, when you watch the games, there's maybe 4 or 5 really good players and the others maybe not so good.
Yeah.
So until you can get 11 world-class players, it's going to take time. But
and that's
in
going
terms
to start
of
from
eyeballs,
the beginning.
But it's exciting though to see it take shape. Like you see the interest. Yeah, like
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honestly,
do you have that kind of positive view with it? Because I know some people don't, right? Like I saw Simon Jordan on TalkSport. He doesn't seem very fond of it.
Simon Jordan's always...
He hating on the Saudi League?
He hates atmosphere. It's strange because he did this with the boxing. He spoke about the boxing and he said, the atmosphere is not the same as it is in England. I'm like, you've got to travel. Like I've been lucky enough to have gone to Japan to watch boxing and they're so quiet.
Really?
That's just how they are as personalities.
Culturally,
they're quiet. And sometimes the Saudis are just quiet. Sometimes they're watching events.
It's the same here though. Like,
as appreciation. They're not having drinks and getting drunk. And, Sometimes it's just a case of we watch, we applaud and that's it. Not every atmosphere needs to be screaming and shouting.
That's why you got to travel around the world. That's why you got to
travel around the world.
That's interesting because I never looked at it in that way, but that is true because the way I enjoy it, I don't shout, but I love it. So I watch it, but I don't shout and rant and ring. But
if you ever go to a boxing match, maybe in America or the UK, bro, it's like a nightclub.
Because they're drunk.
Because
they
the
might be throwing bottles at you, everything.
The drink thing. And
it's always fights after the fight.
And it's not this,
in the parking lot.
There's a drink and there's a drug culture.
Yeah.
So you've got the drink, the drug, and sometimes these people are not even going there for watching. They're going there to fight each other.
They're going for other stuff.
They're going to other stuff. So that doesn't exist here.
Yeah.
So the crowd's going to be different. And again, I think it's education. People just need to understand. It's a different eyeballs on the sport.
Yeah.
And this is how they watch it. This is how they consume it.
I do think there's an element of jealousy too, because if you're the English Premier League, you don't want no one to compete with your product.
True.
So naturally, these people that are, fans of Bundesliga, La Liga, whatever, they don't want the Saudi League to take off because you're going to take the best players from the league. You're going to compete with sponsors. You can have more eyeballs on this league. Do you agree with that?
I think the jealousy comes from the fans, and I'm one of them, who you don't want to see your best players go. It's true, because there's a limit to how much Liverpool, for example, can pay Mo Salah. Liverpool can pay Mo Salah $500,000 a week. The Saudi League say, here's $2 million, come. And he's gone. And there is that jealousy of we can't compete with this. And I think there is that jealousy. I don't want to see Salah go.
As
a Liverpool fan, I don't want to see you Liverpool. I don't want to see you.
So you're a fan of the whole team, not just...
I'm a fan of the whole team. And he's a big part of that team.
He's our Steph Curry, though. If he leaves, it's a problem.
If he leaves, it's a problem.
So you're a fan of the whole team too? Or just...
Yeah. I mean, in England, that's probably the most common, I'd say.
You support the whole team,
I wanted to ask about the Premier League, cover a few teams. Liverpool, post-Klopp, how are you feeling?
It's the most painful... Devastation. Devastation. Honestly, devastation. I'm trying to put into words how painful it was when he said he's leaving.
I thought it was a joke. Someone texted me, I'm like...
it's a bit like, it's a bit like when they told me Tupac are dead. And then for years, I was listening to songs that kind of made me feel, he's alive.
Nah, he's
alive somewhere. And he's in Mexico. And someone said there's a picture of him. And
7 Day Theory.
And I used to listen to every 7 Day Theory. I was like, he's definitely alive.
They had me believing he was alive for a minute.
In Cuba.
I'm like, hold on, man. Now they confusing me. I thought we seen the ashes. But now
because people loved him, right? So
people loved
him. So what Ade saying, so Liverpool's manager, Jurgen Klopp, this guy, he's loved by the fans, right? He's been really successful.
Leaving.
So he's leaving. He's not retiring, but he's going to stop being the manager and then bringing in another guy.
So you guys even love the managers, because we don't really, when we watch basketball, we don't really care who's the manager.
I think Liverpool fans love the manager more than they love anyone on the team. This crazy guy, Jurgen Klopp, people love him because he's just given us hope.
But we did used to like when the Lakers had Phil Jackson. Bro, that was he was part of it.
But I don't think people thought the Lakers were successful because of Phil Jackson, though. With Liverpool, everything is put down to...
In America, they look at the players, really. But when you look at behind the scenes, Phil Jackson, have you ever saw the documentary about the Bulls?
Last Dance?
The Last Dance? You've seen Phil Jackson
documentary ever.
It was crazy.
Greatest documentary ever. And that's the way we look at Klopp. We feel like the house is all going to come crumbling down.
Do you feel that way, though? I don't feel that way.
I feel like we ain't going to win anything for ages.
You feel that? No, I don't feel
because of the manager who leave?
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't feel that way.
Because the players run through a wall for him. And they'll do anything. Because I think our players actually, compared to other players, maybe aren't that special. But he seems to get this extra something from them.
Don't you feel like with Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, the structure that's coming in, we still got amazing players, man. Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk.
No.
Oh, no,
I really don't.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't. I think Klopp was the only thing that made us compete with Guardiola. And obviously young Arteta coming through. I think without him, even with him, we still couldn't compete.
Yeah, it was tough.
Think about that. With him, we couldn't compete. Wow. So you're trying to give me hope without him?
Maybe he's the problem.
Who knows, man? Clip that.
Is it because the new manager coming in doesn't have a profile and we don't know much about him? Maybe you think he's not going to do well, or...
Yeah, there is a bit of that.
Yeah.
There is a bit of that. And not only that, he wasn't our first choice.
Yeah,
so
Alonso, man.
Yeah, it's not, he wasn't even our second choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to be Amorim. So the fact that we're getting our third or fourth choice.
But Salah was like the third choice right winger when we bought him, right? Salah wasn't first choice. Look how that worked out.
You are correct. Salah wasn't our first choice. But Salah is almost like just a one magic trick. Like, forget, you can't compare him to anything. He's that special. This new manager, I've never heard of. Like, I knew Salah. I knew
from Chelsea,
Salah,
Roma.
From Chelsea, from Roma, Fiorentina. I've never, and I'm a football guy. I've never heard of this new manager on his slot until a month ago.
To Liverpool linked with him.
Yeah, never heard of him.
What about, so Abdullah, one of the producers, big Chelsea fan. How you feel about those guys?
Oh my God, I'm leaving. Chelsea, oh my Lord. You should have told me before you called me.
What do you think about them? Do you think, because they've improved, man. If you look at their last few...
Better. They've got better in the last 2 months.
Your boy Rory's a big Chelsea guy.
Big Rory's a massive Chelsea guy.
Yeah.
I've always said, you look at the average age of that Chelsea side, it's like 22. It's a young side.
Yeah.
So you almost need to beat them now, because in 2 years' time, when they all grow with each other and they're all 24, 25 and they've got experience, they're going to be a problem.
Oh, you think so, yeah?
Yeah, I think Chelsea are going to be a big problem. You only have to look at the way they've ended the season. Chelsea are a problem. I think they'll invest a bit more in the squad. I think some players are leaving. Obviously, Thiago Silva's left.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Raheem Sterling's going to go. So they're going to replace those with 25, 26-year-old experienced players.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea, for as crazy as that club is, Chelsea always win something. Like every 2 years, Chelsea wins something. I don't know how.
True, you know.
They always win something, Chelsea.
Mentality, man. Winners.
They're so used to winning.
Doesn't matter who the manager is, who the players
are.
I
still can't believe y'all tripping over the manager, because I'm like...
Chelsea have won more trophies since Klopp's been there.
Wow.
Than Klopp.
Chelsea have won.
That don't shock me.
So even though we've had our greatest manager, and Chelsea have had 5 or 6 managers since Klopp, they still have won more trophies than us. You know how crazy that is?
I've got to be honest, though, watching Rory's meltdown videos every week has been hilarious. How does he feel about it? Like, what's he saying?
Who is he?
He's somebody that Ade makes a show with, or he has a TalkSport show with. Great chemistry as well, really
Big
good
Chelsea
show.
fan, loves Chelsea. Rory, I think Rory's always mentally checked out.
Oh, really?
Chelsea, yeah, he's mentally checked. He loves them so much. It's almost like a relationship where you love your wife, but it just ain't going to work. And you've been childhood sweethearts since you were 10. But it's like, so you don't want to leave because there's so much history. But mentally, you're still in love. The marriage is there, but you know it ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
You probably won't get a divorce because you got kids and you respect the wife and the kids.
Yeah.
But deep down, you're like, I'll check that. You know when you go on the bed and you sleep that way, she sleeps that way. I think that's Rory and Chelsea.
He'll be back next season. I feel like Chelsea are going to improve a lot. That's how I feel.
I hope not.
So who's the best players at Chelsea? I need to know some names.
They got some amazing players, man. Nkunku, Cole Palmer, had a great season, right?
They've got a young kid called Cole Palmer who's got kind of attitude, arrogance about him. He's from Manchester. He's from Manchester, but he's so good.
You see, I got a lot of stars in England.
You need it. Yeah, I always wonder, for someone that doesn't watch football, how long it will take to learn. It's a lot, you know.
I think a lot of these conversations get me one step at a time, but I'm taking baby steps.
You went to watch the Shababi recently.
I'm starting to learn a little more about it. It's getting more excited, but it's not quite there.
It is not easy.
I just got to be real. It's not quite there.
Because we know
I'm
so
always
many
ready to
different
leave
leagues.
halftime. So when halftime come, I say, gotta go.
It's too slow for you, right?
Gotta go, so I'm going home.
But you got to pay attention now, because in Saudi it's taking off.
Yeah, it's taking over.
No, it's massive. And I think I'm coming here when the season
my kids
starts
are fans,
next year.
so now that, you know what I mean? Even in America, you know what's crazy? The newer generation, the younger kids are all becoming football. I'm starting to hear more of these.
It's the fastest growing sport in America.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear like a lot of my friends' kids are putting their kids into football now. Before it was only basketball.
You know how much money's in football, that's why?
I need to hire me one of these young kids, a young guy, and sign him now.
And because, we obviously, look, NBA, I mean, unless you're 6'2", 6'3", as a start, even point guards are 6'2", like Stephen Curry's 6'2", 6'3". So already, if you're 5'6", forget about it.
Yeah, you ain't
gonna do it. Whereas football, height doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can be 5'1", you can be 6'4". There's a position for you on the field.
Yeah, true.
So I can understand why, as parents, you're giving your kids more options. I mean, even, and in the NFL, the hits are just too hard. The danger, the concussion.
It's danger. Yeah,
it's so dangerous. So football almost is the sport where it's inclusive. Anyone can play. Like, females play. Young girls can play. So I think it's the safest and potentially one of the wealthiest sports.
For sure, man. Especially here. You see the salaries people being paid.
Yeah, I think it might be the top, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, think about it. If you don't make it the NFL, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go to other places, but that's kind of it. Whereas football, you've got at least 20 countries where you can make big money. And then there's even smaller ones where you can make good living. So you've got way more opportunities than any other sport to make
your
it.
kids, but it's still young enough.
Yeah, I might have to start doing the Michael Jackson. The Jackson like, get out, kick that ball, boy.
So time's actually going really quickly. So Ade, you've got a few quick fire questions and then we'll wrap it up. First one, who's the best boxing promoter in the world?
Bob Arum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best heavyweight boxer of this era?
Tyson Fury.
Klopp or Pep? It's got to be Klopp, man.
Klopp. But you know what it is?
Yeah.
Heart says Klopp, the head says Pep. When I look at Pep's CV,
it's outrageous.
It's ridiculous, brother.
I feel like Man City are as good as they are because of him.
If he leaves, they come fifth.
You think so?
Yeah, he's just so frighteningly good.
Ronaldo or Messi? You're in Saudi, bro. You got to put it.
I know, but I got to keep it real as well.
I got my boy.
I got to keep it real. Messi.
Messi, yeah?
Messi.
Wow.
Messi's just insane.
You know who Messi is?
I know he is. I never watched him play a game, but everybody say he's the best.
Messi is insane. You know when I see Messi, like Ronaldo
is he like athlete. A Michael Jordan of football?
Yeah, Ronaldo though just looks like an athlete. Like you look at him, it's insane. Muscles everywhere. He's 6'2". He looks like an Adonis.
Yeah.
Messi's got a little belly.
Yeah,
Messi's about 5'6".
Yeah.
He looks like someone who could
like
maybe have a cigarette.
Like,
like a dad bod. Yeah, he's still just, oh my wow.
Messi's outrageous.
He's outrageous.
This is a controversial one. Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, that's not even good. you know it's funny. You know it's funny.
Correctly, bro.
You know it's funny because when I watch shows, like I watch like Noriega's got a show.
Drink Champs.
Drink Champs. Yeah. And he's doing this thing where he's asking people, like he's doing this Tupac or DM. I'm like, Tupac or DM? I find it offensive.
Same.
I'm like, Tupac or... And some people say, DM. I'm like, have you lost your mind?
That New York bias, though.
New Yorkers be hating, man.
Be hating. So
y'all still be hating in NYC. 2024.
Tupac, there's not even, I don't even know who's second.
The fact that he was 25 when he died means he made all that music when he was 22, 23, 24.
It's not even the music for me.
Yeah.
It's the intelligence in the music.
Yeah.
Because sometimes now in my 40s, I play back and listen to some stuff that I've not listened to forever. Like I'm listening to like the Me Against the World album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, take that back. He said that when he was 21?
Yeah.
So for me, it doesn't make sense because I know what I was doing at 21.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my nephews and my nieces. I'm like, the intelligence for me.
Yeah, he was ahead of his... A lot of people don't know, but the reason why Pac was very intelligent due to his mother. Whenever he get in trouble, she make him sit down and read the newspaper. And she raised him. She named... You know who Tupac Amaru is? Tupac Amaru is a revolutionary from Peru. And his mother said, the reason why I named Tupac this because I wanted him to know that African Americans... Yeah, she said, I also want him to know that African Americans or Black Americans aren't the only ones who went through oppression or struggle. So she was putting this in his head from the beginning that it's introduce him to a world stage of struggles and oppression. That's why you can have people, no matter where you go. I remember Tyson said, he said, no matter where you go in the world, the person know who Tupac is.
Yeah.
Because if your mother tells you from the beginning, you're not the only oppressed person. What about Tupac Amaru who fought against the Spanish? He was from Peru. He was a revolutionary. What about this group? What about the Latinos? Or what about the people in Africa? Like she was really drilling it to him. Don't be stuck on American. The world is bigger. So that's why he had, because even me, bro, I'm shocked. I live with him.
Yeah.
And he never felt like a 23-year-old man. Like
he didn't even look.
He didn't even look like he always felt like an uncle.
Yeah.
Like
honestly, he didn't even look.
Like when he don't look. He was always ahead of his. Very mature. You know what I mean? Didn't look 25. Didn't behave like a 25-year-old.
I just wonder what he would be like now. You know, sometimes I would never want anyone to pass away. But I love the fact that I've got that image of him.
Yeah.
And because the world can make you do crazy things as you get older and you turn and you do things that you would never have done in your youth. And I'm almost happy that it just stopped. Yeah. So I can almost just, that's him and that's it, you know? Because I look at some artists now. Look at Kanye, for example. Look how crazy Kanye's gone.
Yeah, we met Kanye West.
Yeah, we met him. Pac was going to get into politics.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Didn't he say in one of his last interviews he was going to stop making music? He wanted to do more movies.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith. Yeah. He would have been the first Will Smith.
Yeah.
And then he was going to go into politics. So when he used to blow our mind because when we used to sit around and say, politics?
Yeah.
Like you know someone named Alanis Morissette?
Yeah.
You know Alanis Morissette?
Singer, of course, yeah.
Bro,
we know a lot in the UK. We know quite a bit.
He used to hang with Alanis Morissette. We'd get in his car and all of a sudden he playing Alanis Morissette and we'd be like, man, what is this type of music? Yeah. He said, that's why you guys, y'all have to have a broader mindset and you ain't gonna go nowhere. You stuck in his hood. And like, so his mindset at 23, 24 was always, he was open-minded. I guess he wasn't afraid to know different culture. And being born in the hood and raised in the hood, that's very rare for us. Because maybe most people only comfortable with what they know. You know what I mean? So when Pac was hanging, he was about to bring her to Death Row Records. Bro, he was telling sure you got to sign Alanis Morissette to Death Row Records. The thing that broke their relationship, their friendship, is that one time she called Pac to come hang with her. And a few times when he hung with her, like we was around. And she said, yeah, but you can't bring your homeboys. Don't bring the outlaws. Because it was like a party of like these rich, top white people. And so she felt like a Pac bring us there.
Uncouth.
It's not going to fit. So he's like, man, if you ain't, no, I'm not dealing with her. You know, if my homies can't
ruffians.
come. Yeah, he's like, if my homies ain't coming, I'm not coming, man. And that turned him off from her. And that's what probably stopped her deal.
Loyal guy, though.
Yeah, he was loyal, Pac, man.
Ade, what's next for you First question. Second question, who's your dream interview?
What's next for me? Obviously, we have this Fury Usyk fight.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the UK. There's a big fight in the UK, Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, which we need to cover. And then we come back here for the 5 versus 5, Deontay Wilder, etc., etc. Then we got the Euros. Dude, it's funny because my mum, when there was no money, when there was no work, she kind of said, "Oh, do you want work?" I was like, "Of course I want work."
Yeah.
And she prayed, and I'm like, "Mum, your prayers have just gone a bit too far because like, it's too much work at the moment." Which
that's amazing. What a place to be.
Oh, dude, it's insane. Like,
and we believe that in Islam, that the Prophet Muhammad said the prayer of the parents for the child is answered. It's deep, and you pray to God,
right?
You know
and again,
what I mean?
when she does pray, it's insane. And she'll send me. My phones of it, she would always send me like a little prayer every morning, like a little something, not a big one, just a little verse every morning. So that's her. In terms of dream interview,
anyone alive?
Can I do dead or alive?
Do dead or alive. Tupac.
That would be my three would be Tupac, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my three.
Wow. These are like the icons in the hood.
Yeah,
these are
my
for us,
three.
for the world.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to date Louis Farrakhan's granddaughter. Yeah, Mariam Farrakhan. It's crazy. I was in Cuba. And I saw her from afar. And she had on like a headscarf, wearing a long dress. And everyone knows that my type's kind of like Erykah Badu. That's kind of my, Lauryn Hill's my type. And I saw her from afar. I was like, so I ran up to her. And I said, hola, hola, thinking she was in like Cuban.
Or something,
And she said, why y'all talking like that? And that was it, boom. So we kind of dated for about a year. And we used to read a lot with each other. Obviously, because her granddad being Louis Farrakhan. So we used to read Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali. We used to read everything. Stokely Carmichael, whatever, we'd just be reading. So my thing's always been, I always like people that push back. And you don't get much more pushback than Tupac, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X. Who pushes back more than those three?
True. And Pac was our Malcolm X and for our culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was our Malcolm X for our culture.
For your culture.
That's deep. Yeah.
But unfortunately, all three of them are dead. So is there no guest alive that you want to interview?
It's weird. There was a time when I thought I'd love to interview Barack Obama. There was a time when I'd love to interview. Maybe not so much as anymore. I still love the way he speaks. I love people that can deliver. And he's such a good talker. It was incredible. So, that probably would be the one.
Barack
Obama. And Barack Obama. And I'm a big fan of Steph Curry. I don't know why.
One more. Steph. That's dope. I was about to say one more. He said Steph Curry.
Yeah, I like Steph Curry. There's something about Steph that I just, like a silent assassin.
Smooth.
I love him.
Do you do much work in America? Do you get to go over there?
All the time.
Oh, yeah?
All the time. I was in New York 2 weeks ago. I was in Vegas last week for Canelo.
Favorite?
I didn't even know, bro.
Yeah, what's your favorite city?
New York.
You
know what it is? It's so...
It's a different vibe. Because New York is like London a little bit. I guess if you can survive... Yeah, New York do have some type of
kind
London
of weather's
feel,
kind of similar.
No, it does.
You were born in New Jersey. Yeah.
New Jersey, but we it's different though. Even though I'm 30 minutes from New York, but
I went to New Jersey. My friend, the guy I showed you, lives in New Jersey.
Wow.
And he said, yo, you want to see the hood?
Did he he must take you to my hood, Newark.
Yeah.
This is where I'm from.
Because he went to see he told me where Shakur Stevenson kind of grew up.
To Newark.
So, bro, he took me to a corner. He said, look at that there, look there. And I was like, okay, let's get out of here. That was enough. I said, okay. You could see on the corners, like, it's like the movies. I can actually see.
Newark is crazy,
I could see, like, it was like a movie. I could see people doing this on that corner, that on that corner. And I was like, and I was so happy because it was daytime. I was like, if this is daytime, what happens when the lights go down? I was like, it's time to go.
Nah, Newark is crazy.
Were you saying there was a place in Chicago where, like, at night you don't even go out?
No, we was recently in Chicago with, it was Chicago, I forget what side of Chicago was. We was with the father, Little Dirk, Big Dirk.
Okay,
He's Muslim, so he go back and do a lot of talk with the community. So when we get off the plane together, I seen him, I said, so what time is our talk? Because we wanted to talk to the youth. I said, I hope it's at nighttime. He's like, what? He said, the talk is during the day. I said, how come? He said, bro, it gets active at nighttime. He said, when nighttime comes, you got to go home. He said, they start shooting.
Bro, alhamdulillah, here, absolute opposite of that.
Alhamdulillah.
2, 3 in the morning, you go out, it's fine.
And that's why I said,
2, 3 in the morning.
And I was saying to someone the other day, like, it's time to get a little investment property here. Because,
bro, you got the contact. I know some people you ask, they say, sure, we got you.
I might, because I'm actually speaking to him this evening. So I might actually ask the conversation, like, not give me one, but can you help point me in the direction? But he probably will say, don't worry, I've got
right. But no, you got the contacts here.
Yeah, but I just like the feeling of the peace when I come here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the heat.
Well, when you're ready to buy, he's humble. He's the man.
The heat's
a real estate. When you're looking, he got you.
I work in real estate.
For real, he got you.
He gave me that look when
I'll tell you where to buy it. I'll tell you where to buy it.
He even tell you where to buy it.
I definitely need a little investment property, but I'm not sure about the heat yet.
Yeah, but you good. You go like when I first moved here, every summer I was out of it. But to be honest, it's not as bad. Have you ever spent summers in Saudi?
Yeah, I love it. I love
After
it.
a while,
this isn't the summer?
Nah, bro.
Bro, this is not the summer.
July time, like 50 degrees every day.
Yeah, but when I first moved here, automatically I was brainwashed. As soon as the summer come, I'm out of here. I'm going to LA. We got the best weather in LA. And when COVID hit, I realized that it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
No, it's bad.
Nah, but when you start coming...
Today I came out of the mall and it actually hit me. And it hit me to a point where I was like, this is actually like it was I was like, how have I
like
not,
this?
It hit me like that. Like, you know when you open the oven? It hit me like that. I was like, okay, this no.
Oh, we're not summer yet, bro.
I can't believe this is not summer.
Yeah. It gets
but you
hot,
get
bro.
used to it though. You get used to it.
But we better wrap up, bro. You gotta get to Boulevard City now, right?
Yeah, I gotta get to Boulevard City for the
7.
press conference for 7.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This ran way over. We planned to do like 45 minutes.
But that's how it was. It was just smooth, bro.
Easy conversation.
That's why I wanted Adi, bro. I knew it was gonna be a normal conversation.
Yeah, you said it. He said it's gonna be authentic.
That's all I wanted, bro. I just want a normal conversation with you, bro.
Conversation, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Now I need to come when I come back again.
Yeah.
Anytime, bro.